When you think of music in Southeast Kentucky, jazz is not the first style that comes to mind. At McCreary Central High School, students were introduced to jazz firsthand by legendary jazz trumpet player Maynard Ferguson.
1, 2.
The reason I brought him here is really I'm trying to do two things. Not only raise money for my band, but also to bring jazz to this part of Kentucky. You know, we're in southeastern Kentucky, not too many big jazz clubs around here. And in my humanities class that I teach, we've just now finished our section on jazz. I started them off with Dixieland and ragtime and got through swing and the blues and bop. And of course, Maynard crosses all those types of jazz.
The Canadian-born Ferguson started his professional career in the late 1940s in the big bands of Boyd Rayburn and Stan Kenton. He led a variety of his own bands thereafter and has actively toured and recorded ever since. Ferguson's life as a musician has also included longtime involvement in jazz education. Ferguson sees music as a way to excite kids about school.
When you look at the school curricula in general, you don't see the kids rushing to class because they don't want to be late, because after all, it's algebra, right? You know, but when it's the marching band that's going to go to the football game and play at the halftime and/or any of the other activities that they get involved in, there's such a joyful togetherness, and it's almost a better team than most of the things that are in the sports department. And of course, I will not rant and rave about the fact that more money is given for the sports department than the music department.
Ferguson's involvement in education and music began at an early age.
I'm the son of the school principal and a school teacher. My father was a grade school principal and loved music and was one of the first Canadian principals to bring about instrumental teaching in the schools. At that first summer, there was nothing organized, and there was like 130 instruments in our basement. And as my brother and I discovered that occasionally, at first, we would put aside our hockey skates and go down and have fun with the toys that were in the basement. That's what really captured me, was the fun of playing musical instruments and discovering what fun it was. Music being taught in the schools shows them something that they'll take with them all their lives. It has nothing to do with being professional. I'm a terrible golfer, but I love it, right? You know, one of my daughters is an absolutely marvelous musician, but that's not what he does to pay his bills. But to call him an amateur would be an insult, because he's a fine player, you know.
At school concerts, Ferguson takes his message directly to the students.
One of the things you should always do is don't get into I'm into jazz music, or I'm into rock and roll, or I'm into the marching band. Right? Be into all of them, you know, so that you get any chance you get to play. If it's a polka band, play a polka, you know. If it's a Jewish wedding or a bar mitzvah, just go play at it.
Even for Ferguson's band members, the learning continues.
Oh yeah, I'm still learning too. There's a lot of stuff I'm working on, you know. I got books in the bus. I'm getting ready to probably break out tonight, you know. It's all about just the process of getting better and better as a musician and as a person.
It's cool going to the schools because we weren't there too long ago, and or we were there not too long ago, and to see everybody, you know, sort of getting excited about the same thing that we are, what we do, is really cool to see. You know, the travel's great, good to go all over the world, and someone else's expense, so it's you wouldn't be able to do that, you know, on your own at this age, you know.
Central Kentucky jazz legend and music educator Vincent DiMartino is a Ferguson aficionado.
And Maynard is a trumpet icon. And I know that I grew up listening to Maynard Ferguson. Matter of fact, all the way up here in the car, all I did was listen to his old CDs, which I listened to when I was in high school. And he was one of the first trumpet players I ever met when I was 12. And it really means a lot for young people to hear somebody do what this band does and he does live. It's different than hearing a record. You know, you really see people and the energy in the people and the music itself, and then you see how the audience is so excited. And this music will never grow old. It's part of our history, it's part of American history. And I'm just glad to be here tonight, see him again, and I'll be there the next time he's around too.
Well, I think that it's real important that we have band and we have music like this. It gives our kids, broadens their horizon. And I was in a band, my wife was in a band when we were in high school. And it helps you to learn there's more than the ABCs, but it puts it all together so you get it. I think it gives you, it enriches people's spirits. And I really think it's real important and hope we continue to do things like this.
Oh man, it just doesn't get any better than that. 71, it can still just energize a crowd. I mean, it's electric. He comes out there, he gets every fan, I don't care, young to old. Anybody that's ever heard him before, just absolutely goes crazy. I'm acting like I was when I was in high school when I first heard him. In fact, I've almost lost my voice to scream so much.
Oh, it's awesome. I mean, that's the first time I've ever seen him live. It's just awesome.
That's the best concerts I've ever been to my whole life. Every second I was packed to him, watching him, learning. Hopefully one of these days I can be up there with him.
Let's hear it for the great Maynard Ferguson.